After weeks of investigation, the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission doled out punishment for agents involved in the raid at the Rainbow. 3 employees have been fired, 2 top-ranking commanders disciplined. The 33's Dawn Tongish joins us live from TABC headquarters in Dallas with more. Dawn?
Amanda, the TABC announced today that 2 agents and a sergeant have lost their jobs because of this controversial raid. 2 top-ranking commanders have also been disciplined, and now many people are waiting and wondering if Fort Worth police officers also involved in this raid will face a similar punishment.
Randy Norman says it's all he's thought about for 2 months. The night TABC agents, along with Fort Worth police, stormed his bar. He's relieved some of those involved have lost their jobs.
No one deserves that. In my years of experience, at no time I've ever seen them come in with such force.
An internal probe showed agents and a sergeant violated procedures, including wearing unapproved uniforms, poor supervision, and not reporting that patron Chad Gibson had been hurt, suffering a head injury. Because of those mistakes, veteran agent Christopher Aller was fired, along with agent trainee Jason Chapman and 20-year veteran Sergeant Terry Parsons.
I think that there is always apprehension on the part of citizens that an institution is going to take the appropriate action, and so, yes, I think I was pleasantly surprised.
Attorney John Nelson, who leads Fairness Fort Worth, applauds the firings, saying the rogue agents led by Aller targeted the gay bar.
Before they went to the Rainbow Lounge, after the 2 other raids, they were in a parking lot, and he knew that you didn't take 6 police officers, 6 vehicles, and a paddy wagon to the Rainbow Lounge, a new bar which had never, ever been inspected before. He knew that, and he totally ignored all of that.
Investigators are also looking into allegations of excessive force and whether constitutional rights were violated. Along with TABC agents, 6 Fort Worth police officers are also under scrutiny for their actions that night.
No, they have mine.
Norman says the department needs to follow the TABC lead and send a clear message.
I think that if they were in partnership with TBC that night, I think the action taken by TBC should also be the action that Fort Worth Police should take as well. And those officers that did violate policies and procedures should be terminated.
Now, the TABC Regional Commander, Captain Charlie Cloud, who received a written reprimand, told us today that he takes responsibility and plans to see that new policies like more diversity training and changes to the use of force policy are followed in the future. Now, the fired men, except for the trainee, can appeal. Reporting live in Dallas, Dawn Tongish, the 33 News.
Thank you, Dawn.
Today's firings that we mentioned, the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission announced a series of policy changes. CBS 11 investigator Bennett Cunningham has been breaking stories all week on this use of force by TABC agents. He's joining us now with the latest developments today. Bennett?
Doug, the announcement comes just days after CBS 11 revealed agents across the state using force, and in some cases, they have nothing to do with alcohol enforcement. Tonight, the agency is making changes. Agent Christopher Aller spoke publicly for the first time on Tuesday about his role in the Rainbow Lounge raid.
I don't feel that I've been represented well in the media as a thug. I'm not Rambo, as some state representatives have said, and I just look forward to the opportunity to clear my name.
But his plea in front of the TABC commissioners wasn't enough. Aller, agent trainee Jason Chapman, and Sergeant Terry Parsons were fired today. The terminations, the result of a series of policy violations. TABC says the 3 committed the night Chad Gibson ended up in the hospital.
Our officers are going to be very prudent when they use force, and arrest will always be the last resort.
The disciplinary actions are just the beginning. The agency also announced numerous policy changes, including a new use of force policy that takes effect next week.
What we're emphasizing now is on the de-escalation. Let's not get to the point that we're going to handcuff somebody.
In an exclusive interview with CBS 11, the top boss at TABC, Alan Steen, said the agency has been reviewing internal policy and is ready to move forward.
I am happy with the direction that we have taken. I'm happy with the proactive parts that we have done. I'm not happy that people get hurt.
Agent Aller has filed a complaint against his former boss, Administrator Alan Steen, claiming Steen's public comments about the raid have forcefully blocked any opportunity for a fair and unbiased investigation. We'll continue to follow the developments. I'm live, Bennett Cunningham.
Today, TABC commissioners had a meeting. The tone was obvious. The TABC wants to get it right, and treating people with respect is critical. And you're about to hear from two men who have not spoken on camera about the raid on the Rainbow Lounge until now. The man who runs the agency and the agent who was there that night. In June, Fort Worth resident Chad Gibson was hospitalized after being arrested by a TABC agent at the Rainbow Lounge bar.
I'm just appalled that they took it to the level that they did.
Last week, 3 TABC agents were involved in a shooting in Austin following a police chase. That man is hospitalized and is in critical condition.
12 months of that violation.
At today's TABC commissioners meeting, Administrator Alan Steen invited us back into his office to talk about the issues confronting his agency and has a message for the people of North Texas.
I want to be real clear, to the people of Fort Worth is this isn't about violating policy. This isn't about making some mistakes or being lazy or being anything. This is about attitude. This is about attitude with me. And we don't treat people like we treated the people in Rainbow Lounge and those other 2 bars right straight up the street.
At today's meeting, TABC's Chief of Enforcement says there is no more sacred role for agents than to conduct bar inspections. But last night, we showed you how TABC agents are conducting surveillance for narcotic activity, monitoring local police radios, and responding to violent calls and deploying their personal shotguns and rifles to back up local police on calls unrelated to alcoholic beverages. Steen says the agency is charged with protecting the public safety, but hinted the policy may need to be looked at.
If that's a part of public safety in these local communities that this agency needs to rethink, I'm willing to rethink it.
During the meeting, the big surprise came when TABC agent Christopher Aller showed up with his family. Aller was the TABC agent who initiated the arrest of Chad Gibson at the Rainbow Lounge.
Police brutality's got to go.
That arrest set off a firestorm from citizens and legislators.
I think there's something of a Rambo mentality on a part of a number of the agents in the field.
Aller, for the first time, responded to those critics.
I don't feel that I've been represented well in the media as a thug. I'm not Rambo, as some state representatives have said, and I just look forward to the opportunity to clear my name.
The TABC will have a use of force expert who will help train other agents, plus a new use of force policy that goes into effect September 1st. The TABC stated there will be times when agents will use force, but arrests are a last resort. Fort Worth Police and the TABC are still investigating the use of force at the Rainbow Lounge. I'm Bennett Cunningham, CBS 11.
Anything I could have done to stop him from falling, I would have.
Yes, he's the man in the middle of the TABC raid on the Rainbow. He says what went down last June wasn't his fault. He says it's time to tell his side of the story.
The raid on the Rainbow sparked protests that attracted a national outcry from the gay community. Tonight, a 33 News exclusive. We hear another side of the story. Danex McGraw talks one-on-one to a TABC employee who was fired over the raid.
The raid on the Rainbow Lounge sent shockwaves and rage through Fort Worth, costing Jason Chapman his job and future at the TABC.
I just want people to know that I'm not that guy that I've been painted to be.
Chapman was a trainee that night. He was arresting Chad Gibson outside of the Rainbow Lounge when Chad fell to the street, injuring his face and setting off the controversy.
And I don't feel like I helped him. I mean, I was trying to help him. I didn't help him in that instance. If there's anything I could have done to stop him from falling, I would have.
Chapman and other TABC agents were accused of using excessive force that night.
He didn't get hurt because he was mistreated. He didn't get hurt because he was beaten up or slammed on the ground. He got hurt because I just didn't catch him. I wasn't fast enough to catch him when he fell.
Chapman says he had compassion for Gibson during the arrest. He says no one wants to hear the real story.
I didn't run in there like Rambo for sure, and neither did Chris Aller, and neither did anybody else that I saw.
And he says officers didn't target the bar because it was a gay bar, and they weren't trying to send a message to the gay community. He says he didn't want to see anyone get hurt that night and wants to send a public apology to Chad Gibson.
To Chad, man, if there's any way I could change what happened, I would. I didn't enter that bar to pick on gay people. I'm not a gay basher.
Fourth, police don't want to say anything about the latest statements made, and neither does TABC.
As far as how we did our business, how we handled ourselves, the way we treated people, I don't think I would change anything.
In Fort Worth, Dan X. McGraw, the 33 News.
Chad Gibson's lawyer sent us this statement tonight. He wrote, "We strongly disagree with his claim that excessive force was not used in the takedown of Chad Gibson at the Rainbow Lounge. It is contrary to the sworn statements of